This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Bruchim Haba, and welcome everyone to a special Friday edition of our Shiurim, Parshas Yisro. Welcome everybody. I want to share with you some insights onto the Parsha. Firstly, Parshas Yisro we always read in the week of Tu B'Shvat, and that means Parshas Yisro is the Parsha that is read Shloshim Yom Koydem Purim, 30 days before Purim, and that is no coincidence, because we know that Purim is Kabbalas HaTorah. Purim is the Yom Tif of Kabbalas HaTorah. So, if Purim is the Yom Tif of Kabbalas HaTorah, so we read Parshas Yisro, which is 30 days before, as a hachana for Kabbalas HaTorah. So it's certainly significant that Yisro is the Parsha that we read in preparation for the Yom Tif of Purim, Haba Aleinu L'Tova. Okay. I want to share with you an insight from my brother on Pashat Rashi in this week's Parsha. The pasuk says, "Vayisaper Maisha l'chaisinai." Maisha related to his father-in-law. So Rashi says, why did Moshe Rabbeinu tell over the story of Yitzias Mitzrayim to Yisro? Rashi says, "Limshoich es libay lekaver l'Torah," to draw his heart, to bring him closer to the Torah. So my dear brother, Rav Aaron David Glatstein, Shlita, he pointed out that think about what Moshe Rabbeinu is doing. Rashi is saying that the reason why Moshe told the story to Yisro is he wasn't fulfilling family obligation. It wasn't like, okay, he had his chayvos to have a conversation with his father-in-law. Moshe Rabbeinu was doing this to be makarev someone, for kiruv rechaikim. So we see from here that even a gadol hadar, even a manhag Yisrael, needs to take off time from his schedule for kiruv rechaikim. But we see further, because the Sifsei Chachamim is bothered, the Sifsei Chachamim comments that Rashi is bothered, that why is Moshe Rabbeinu telling Yisro the story? Yisro already knew the story. That's the opening pasuk in this week's Parsha. Vayishma Yisro Chosein Moshe Kohen Midyan Chosein Moshe Eis Asher Asa Hashem Li Yisrael LeMoshe. So Yisro already heard everything. So Rashi's troubled. If Yisro heard everything, then why is Moshe Rabbeinu telling him the story? And Rashi answers, you're right, he knew it. He's telling him the story to be makarev him. So the question is, how is this going to be makarev him? He already knows the information. And the answer is, we see from here, that in order to bring someone closer, you don't need to tell them any chidushim. You don't need to tell them new insight. You don't need to tell them even something that they don't know. Merely by taking out the time to share with another Jew true Torah, even true Torah that Jew may already know, but he may be overlooking, or maybe it wasn't presented in the right way, or just the fact that you cared enough to share it with him. That is a powerful technique to bring somebody closer to the Torah, and that was the technique that Moshe Rabbeinu used. Okay. We all know the expression, Kol haschala kashos. All beginnings are difficult. And we usually understand that to mean that if you're starting a project, the beginning is the hardest part. Once you getting into the swing of things, but once you get into the swing of things, you sort of get used to it. In other words, let's say somebody comes late to davening. Now, if you come late to davening, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but that means you don't really consider davening important, because there's no way to start Shemoneh Esrei with the tzibor if you come late. There's no way to say all the words if you come late. So coming late to davening means you don't really care that much about it. You want to be able to check off that you went, but it's not like it's important to you. So let's say Well, now the issue is you got to get up early. It's not easy to get up early. So we usually think, Kol haschala kashos, it's only hard the first 3 days to get up, but once you started, you get the hang of it and you get used to it and it becomes a hergal. That is not what Rashi says, Kol haschala kashos. Rashi says, Kol haschala kashos, Im ata tiskablu aleichem yarav lachem mikan ve'elach. If you accept it upon yourself, then it will be sweet from here and on. You know what kol haschala kashos means? It means being mekabel it on yourself is difficult. Not the first 3 times is difficult. The Kabbalah, the commitment is difficult. The commitment is difficult. That's the real haschala, and the real difficulty is in the commitment. Now, it's interesting, on the pasuk of Vayisu merafidim, Vayavoy bnei Yisrael, El Sinai, so Rashi says, why does it have to say they traveled from Refidim? We know they traveled from Refidim. That was their last stop. So Rashi says, well, that just like they came to Midbar Sinai b'tshuva, they left Refidim b'tshuva. So I have a question. How does Rashi know they came to Midbar Sinai b'tshuva? Where in the Torah does it say that Klal Yisrael did tshuva when they came to Midbar Sinai? It doesn't say that anywhere. It could be in Parak Yotes, Pasuk Vav, the Pasuk says, Vi'ata. It says the Lashon and now. The word Ve'ata usually means tshuva. Chazal tell us many times. Ein Ve'ata ela tshuva shenemar. Vi'ata pen yishlach yodoi ve'yoichal gami pri me'etz hachayim. So the fact that it says Ve'ata maybe indicates that Klal Yisrael did tshuva when they came to Har Sinai. It's also very interesting, the minhag of a chassan and kala is that they fast the day of their chuppah. What's the source of that? Why do they fast the day of their chuppah? So the Tajbeitz, one of the Rishonim, says, well, getting married is the very first marriage in history was Kabbalas HaTorah. Kabbalas HaTorah was akin to a marriage. And just like Klal Yisrael fasted before the Torah was given, so too a chassan and kala should fast before their chuppah. So the question is, what source is there that the Jewish people fasted before Hashem gave us the Torah? Does it say in this week's Parsha that Klal Yisrael fasted before the Kabbalas HaTorah? It doesn't say that. Well, if you interpret that Va'ata is a lashon of Teshuvah, so maybe in fact this would indicate that before Kabbalas HaTorah there was some type of process of Teshuvah, even with a tanis. Now, Rashi in Parak Yotes Pasuk Ches is troubled that it says Vayoshav Maisha es divrei ha'am el Hashem, that Moshe Rabbeinu reported to Hashem what Klal Yisrael responded. So Rashi says, does Maisha have to respond to Hashem what Klal Yisrael responded? Hashem knows everything. Why would Moshe Rabbeinu have to report back to Hashem? So Rashi says the Torah is teaching us derech eretz from Moshe Rabbeinu. That derech eretz kadma l'Torah. Derech eretz precedes the Torah. Derech eretz precedes the Torah. Derech eretz precedes the Torah. I have one simple question. There are many places in the Torah that the Torah could teach me the lesson of the importance of derech eretz. Why does the Torah choose this location to teach me derech eretz? And the answer is very simple. Derech eretz kadma la Torah. Before we could be makabel the Torah on Har Sinai with the luchais, this is the most appropriate location for the Torah to teach derech eretz. What could be a more appropriate location to teach derech eretz than right before the Torah was given? There's a beautiful idea by Rav David Leibowitz, Zechat Gavracha, the father of our Rashi, Rav Henoch Leibowitz. If you look at Masechta Yevamos, before the Gemara starts discussing the lamdas of the Masechta of Asidoi Chaloi Saseh and Hutra and Hudcha and Saras Erva, there's a lengthy discussion as to the order of the 15 arayos in the Mishnah. It's a very, very long discussion. What's the reason for this order? There are 15 arayos mentioned in the Mishnah. How do we explain this order? And so Rabbi David Leibowitz explained that this is the first order of business. Before you could learn Torah and get into the lamdas of something, and before you could get involved even in understanding the process of Torah, you need to have seder, you need to have order, you need to be organized. Organization is just a basic human characteristic and midah tova, which is necessary in order to function. So even before Masechta Yevamos begins to tell you about the lamdas of the Masechta Yevamos teaches you Darach Eretz Kadma LaTorah. Okay, one final idea. The end of the Parsha, Hashem says, "B'chol hamakom asher azker shemi avay elechu ve'erachticha." In any place that I mention my name, I will come and bless you. Why does this pasuk appear after Kabbalas HaTorah? So you could say as follows. We know the Torah was given through the name of Hashem. The Avudraham says that Kel Adain, in Kel Adain, you have 10 words, Kel Adain al kol ha'masim baruch v'varach v'fikon hashema, followed by 72 words, followed by 12 words. And the reason for that is Hashem gave the Aseres Hadibros with his 72-letter name to the 12 Shvatim. Some say that's the reason why Shabbos morning we say, when we put back the Sefer Torah, Mizmar LaDavid Havu Lashem B'nei Elim, instead of LaDavid Mizmar, because in that parak it mentions Hashem's name 18 times. There are 4 letters of Hashem's name. So that's connected the 72-letter name of Hashem with which He gave us the Torah. So, in fact, the remez that Hashem gave us the Torah with the 72-letter name is the pasuk Hinei Anochi Ba'elecha Be'av He'anan. Av is 72. Now, when God gave us the Torah, it came along with tremendous shefa of bracha. So now Hashem is saying, like a hemshach of Matan Torah, not only when I gave you the Torah with my 72-letter name is that a cause of bracha, but any time that my name is mentioned, anytime you learn Torah, which is the name of Hashem, anytime God's name is mentioned, I will come and I will bless you just like I did when I gave you the Torah. Okay, now I want to share some questions with you. Okay, next segment.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.